Hey, this is Sports in Nature. Thank you for tuning in us today. We are live here from Endicott College. Got a loaded show for you guys today. I'm excited for this one. So, as many of you guys may have heard, the MLS Cup Final happened this past weekend. Seattle Sounders took the cup. They beat Toronto FC 5-4 in a penalty shootout after the game ended 0-0 in regulation. The game drew over 3.5 million viewers, whereas the previous record was set at 1.5 million people back in 2001 when the San Jose Earthquakes beat the LA Galaxy to win the cup. There was a tweet that we got on Twitter from Emma, who tweeted, "The hashtag MLS Cup is always better when the LA Galaxy are playing in it." This is interesting to me because this year's Cup Final was near unbearable to watch. Despite the record-setting ratings it had, there was no goals, barely any excitement whatsoever, and there was just nothing happening in the game. It was a 120-minute snooze fest that ended with a penalty shootout, which in my opinion is the worst way to end a game in sports. It is all luck-based, and there's no skill involved whatsoever at that point. The rating of that game was a .79, which means only 0.79% of televisions that night were tuned into that game. You know what gets a higher rating than .79? Talking Dead, which is a show that talks about what happens in The Walking Dead. Talking Dead gets a 3.0 rating, which is triple the amount the MLS Cup Final got. So you're trying to tell me that more people rather watch a show that talks about people talking about what happens in the TV show rather than the final game of the sport that's the most popular in the world. That's just been mind-blowing to me. Now, I just can't get over that, but we'll be right back right after this. Hey, welcome back here to Sport in Nature. Thank you for tuning back in with us today. We are still live here at Endicott College. Packed show for you guys today. It's completely packed. So, the new MLB CBA has officially been announced. Details are starting to be released with a few of the major headlining news, including the elimination of all chewing tobacco use, changes to the luxury tax, and the most important thing I found from this was the meaning to the All-Star Game. With how the new CBA is set up, it will no longer determine home field advantage to the World Series. This raised many different opinions throughout the sports world. We are now going to go to Twitter to see what people have to say on the matter. We saw a recent tweet from Anthony Zioli, who tweeted out, "Glad to see the MLB made the right decision on the meaning of the All-Star Game." He joins us live to talk about his opinion. Hey Anthony, it's nice to have you in here with us today.
Hey Jake, how's it going? Great to be here.
Great to have you here. Now, why do you agree with this new CBA policy that the MLB has established?
Well, if you look at the MLB All-Star Game, it really makes no sense for this game to decide the home field advantage for the World Series, especially since the MLB has a 162-game season. The home field advantage for the All-Star Game should be decided by the team with the best record, not by the team that wins the All-Star Game.
But the MLB is the last All-Star Game that has any meaning to it whatsoever. All of the rest of professional sports, their All-Star Game at this point is just a dramatic spectacle.
But yes, the All-Star Game should have meaning in a different way though. This should be about the individuals in nature. This should be about the players, not about the team aspect. The MLB needs to focus on showcasing their players in this game and not worrying about it being a competition between the two leagues.
This is clearly one side of the argument here Anthony brought to us. Now, here's a different opinion that we saw on Twitter from Chris Puya, who tweeted out, "I wish the CBA didn't change the meaning of the All-Star Game. That is the only reason why I watched it." We now bring in Chris to give his opinion on the matter. How's it going today, Chris?
It's going well, Jake. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you in. So, why do you not like these new changes the CBA made to the MLB?
Well, Jake, having been a former baseball player, I just always liked the competitive nature of the MLB All-Star Game. It was the last major sport where the All-Star Game was competitive. Now that it's not competitive, I fear that it's going to turn into the NBA All-Star Game or the NFL Pro Bowl. You have the NFL Pro Bowl at the end of the season, between the end of the regular season and the Super Bowl. They don't even sell out the stadium. You can't even get fans to go to the game. Most of the tickets are free and they can't even get people to go to the games. In the NBA, you have people, the teams aren't even playing defense. This isn't what I want. I liked how all the players, they showed up and the pitchers would throw all their pitches. The defense would be diving, making plays. I don't want it to turn into just a dramatic spectacle. I want the game to mean something.
Yeah, but you're not going to have that in MLB because, like you said, in the NBA they can just not play defense. But baseball is such a harder sport to do that to. If the pitcher throws every pitch lobbing down the plate, then everyone's going to know, and that's not going to happen.
Well, the way the CBA was, you already had players, when Derek Jeter was making his last All-Star Game appearance, they said, I'm going to throw Derek Jeter a fastball right down the middle. They came out and said this to the media. Imagine this, every single pitch of the game. It's not going to be fun. Fans aren't going to want to go.
Yeah, okay, I'm not saying that the MLB All-Star Game is perfect with these changes, but this is just the first step in the right direction. They need to keep changing it and keep shaping it to make it more about the players, and they need to make it so that the players will not want to do what you're saying.
Thanks for coming on with us today, Chris and Anthony. It was great to have you here. This will do it for us today, and this is Jake Smoski signing off for Sport in Nature. We'll see you next time.